Hello, hello. I thought I would jump on here, do a unscripted video, and talk about this challenge that we have going on in the iBible course Facebook group. I've challenged myself, and then I've asked a few of my students, or I asked all my students in the group if they wanted to join me. I had something planned already for this month. I do prompts every month, and I like to verse map every day. And I usually theme my month and verse map every day in my faith journal. And I had something planned out, but then I saw this on another Facebook group, and this was a free download, and it is a prayer challenge, and it was put together by Coffee and Bible Time. And I'm going to link that below in case you want to take part in this challenge as well. This is the June Proverbs 31 prayer challenge. And I'll link that below so that if you want to download it and go through it this month as well. And it's a challenge because if you commit to it, go all the way through it. And the reason that I switched my plans for what I was going to do this month is because when I saw this, I thought, I am called to pray. If I want to be this woman, I have to ask God to help me be this woman. I can't muster it up myself. I'm not capable. And so God asks us to pray for if we want things like this, because He's the one that makes all of that happen. When I saw this, I thought, I read over a couple of these prayers, and I thought, you know what? I need to be praying this every day this month. And so that's why I switched gears for this month. So, of course, when I downloaded it, I had to make it fit in my journal. I had to make it pretty. I made a sticker. I put my own little quote in here just so that I can come to this every day inside my faith journal and be motivated and inspired. So this journal is actually a journal that I made a couple years ago, and it is free. You can download it free, and the reason that I love it so much more than anything is because it has the verse mapping template in it. So let me just show you what that looks like. So this is the verse mapping template. I've been using this for a couple years, I guess. And when I offered the Faith Journal last year for free, I think in April, I went ahead and stuck it in there. And I also made another video. There's another video on my channel where I give you a tour and I verse map. I'm not sure that's in the same video, but I will link that below. I thought I would take you through a few of these steps. So like I said, I'll go ahead and link this below. I've put it in my journal. I put it in my journal by using the iDesign Keynote shape that cuts out the spiral for me. But you don't have to do that. You can go ahead and just do a screenshot and overlay it on one of your blank pages. And then since it's white, it's gonna, blend in. So you can just crop out the edges and then just overlay it. You don't need the cutout. I kind of like the cutout because I was able to add a drop shadow to it, and then you can see this design just kind of goes to the edge. So let me show you how I did that. So in Keynote, and this I teach this all in the course, by the way, how to do all this fun stuff. All right, so this is the iDesign Keynote shape. And so, it's very plain, very flat, but this cutout right here, this is the signature spiral cutout for all the products that I make, any notebooks, the planner, the Faith Journal. And so you can customize your own covers. As you can see, I've got several of them made up in here. And see, they all They all have the spiral. So what I did was I took a screenshot of this prayer challenge and I just drag and dropped it onto the shape and it gave me my cutout. So all I have to do now is select objects, select all, and then done, and then copy it. And then I can go back over to Goodnotes and paste it. And there it is. You can see the drop shadow and you can see the cutout. I've got to crop it a little bit because Keynote adds a lot of space to something that has a drop shadow. So I'll just go ahead and tap and crop just by moving these nodes up and down. And like I said, I teach you all of this in the iBible course so that you can get real creative on your iPad without having to have all of the scissors and the glue and the paints and the gessos and the markers and the stuff. Of course, this needs to be resized, and this can be a little tedious. Some of my sisters in the iBible group talk about how tedious this is. I've kind of got it down pat because I've done it so much, but it takes a little bit of doing. It's a little bit tedious, but once you do it, it stays the same size. You can use it that size over and over and over again. And I'm not going to take the time to do it here because I don't want this video to be that long. And then I'll just show you how I did this sticker. I did that in Keynote as well using one of the iDesign Keynote shapes. For this, I used the Be Mine kit. The only thing I did to it was I added a drop shadow. Okay, so I keep all of my iDesign shapes in one presentation so that I can put it in this view and I can browse every single iDesign Keynote shape that I own. And here's the Be Mine right here. And as you can see, there is the Be Mine heart shape. And it's already filled with the design that I actually used. So you don't have to really do anything to it. However, you can fill this with any color or pattern that you like. If I double tap on it, you can see what I filled it with. I filled it with a flower, and I just think it came out so pretty. And so all I did was copy it, and then I took it to my master projects. And then here it is. I just opened up a new space or a new slide, but I call it my design space. But I opened a new slide and I pasted it on there, made it bigger, and I added a drop shadow by going to Style and turning on the drop shadow. And I like the second one for this. And then as you can see, this text, I typed out this text, but the font that I use isn't on this iPad, it's on my mini. And that's where I actually did the design. So let's just go back. And then once I had it all the font correctly, and I positioned this where I wanted it, I wanted it to just kind of curve over that first word. After I got all done, I tapped on the screen, select objects, select all, and of course it's going to add this extra one. Hit done, copy, and then I go back over to Goodnotes, and here you can see this is my sticker, and it's all glued together. The text, the drop shadow, the sticker, the whole thing, it's completely one thing. That's why I like designing in Keynote and then coming over to Goodnote with the glued together all in one piece, the shape. All right, so I did that just so this page would kind of go together and match and look pretty, and something that I look forward to opening every single day. All right, so now let me talk to you about this template. This template is what I use for verse mapping. Everything is blank, so You can customize it however you want, but I'm going to show you what I do because I have done it in so many different order and methods, and I tried several different things, and I finally kind of gotten into a routine with something that's just been working for me. So I thought, you can start out with what I'm doing and then, start, branching out and customizing it something, the way you like it. This is not written in stone. You don't have to do it in the order that I do it. You don't have to even do it in the boxes that I do it. Because it's blank, you can do it however you want. Okay, so I have this numbered to make it really easy. And sometimes I even need to refer to this chart because, I'll forget or, I have to double check. Even though I do it frequently, I still come back and think, oh, what was step number 4 again? All right, so step number 1, you want to record the scripture reference and the date. So what I did, since I already have this PDF, I just did a screenshot of this first day and then I cropped it out. And as you can see, there it is. And the reason that I used the PDF, let's see if I can find it. Yes, this is the PDF. Let's see. Yeah, this is the PDF. The reason that I use the PDF is because the PDF is just so much crisper. And I could just really zoom in on that. And then I'm going to take my Apple Pencil and I'm going to, from this corner right here of my screen, I'm going to go ahead and swipe up, and that just did a screenshot. So now I'll go ahead and hit the share button and then copy. And now I can go back over to my journal and then paste that in. Of course, it's going to need to be cropped. So I'll go ahead and crop it just by pulling these nodes over. And what I'm doing is cropping out the black line around that date. And then I'm going to hit done. And there it is, done. I'll resize it. I kind of liked it overhanging on the top here, kind of like a bookmark for June 1st. And then in my own handwriting and some red ink, I just wrote in June. All right, so that's step number 1. Step number 2 is to write out the scripture in the center large circle. All right, so to do that, I use my eSword, and let's see, I'm going to use NASB 95, and there it is, 31:10. And you just write out, an excellent wife who can find, for her worth is far above jewels. And so I've already written it out in the big circle. And one of the things I like about my eSword is it already has the Strong's concordance. And so I can go ahead and hit that. And now I can see that there are seven possibilities for words that I can look up. But we'll come back to that when we come to that number. Okay, number 3 is I write the scripture in 2 other translations. And so I've got these 2 side-by-side boxes here. And so I love to write out the NLT. That is like one of my favorite translations. And look how different it is. Who can find a virtuous and capable wife? She is more precious than rubies. See how different that is? I love that. I love that, comparing that to the NASB. And then the other version that I like to record is the LSB. That's the Legacy Standard Bible. And that is much like the the legacy versions of NASB, only the names of God are quoted in there. So I like to use that one. So I'll usually write out NLT and the LSB. So let me move this over and I'll show you one. So this was Revelation 7:12. And so I wrote it out in the NLT and the LSB. And then, of course, I've cross-referenced up there. So here's the scripture. There you can see my lines for the definitions that are connecting the circles. All right, so number 4 is context, and this is what hangs me up the most. It doesn't anymore, but it used to, because I have done precepts for years and years and years, and I've always been taught use scripture to, research scripture and, exhaust the scripture before you go to any other resources. And so in doing these prompts and verse mapping, this would always hang me up because, I would research using the scripture. So I would have to read the whole chapter, sometimes the whole book, to get these answers. And so I'm a terrible procrastinator. So if I know something's going to take me a really, really long time, then I will procrastinate. And so what I do now is I Google it. So I'll just Google, who wrote Proverbs 31, and if it's available, I'll fill it out. To whom was it written? When was it written? Why was it written? And so I'll fill all that out. Bam, done. And I'm more knowledgeable. So, and I don't do that when I do precepts. I keep precept the way I've always done. I always do all my research through the scriptures before, and I exhaust the scriptures completely before I go to resources like Google and commentaries and things like that. So, but this is different. When I'm verse mapping, I won't verse map if I get hung up on that. And I did that for months until I just started Googling it, and it's just made my verse mapping so much more pleasant. Okay, so number 5, highlight any key words. All right, so one of the things that I noticed with this scripture is, let me go back to the Strong's, and so here you can see there is 1, 2, let me use my mouse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 possible definitions that I could look up here. So, you can get choosy, or you can do them all. If you're going to do them all, you can go ahead and add, because the template only has 6 circles. So if you want to go ahead and do them all, you can add some shapes, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute when we get to that step. Okay, so go ahead and highlight your words that you want to look up, and this helps you here looking at this the Strong's numbers, because you can decide. And let me go back to that page that I started it. I just for demo purposes, I highlighted a few. So, just say that you choose excellent, wife, worth, and jewels. So that's 4. And so go ahead and highlight those. And then step number 6 is you're going to connect the colors that you highlighted to the circles. So the color of the highlight and the circles match. All right, and that's step number 6. Color and draw a line from the keywords to the surrounding circles. All right, so let me show you how to do that. So this circle right here goes to the word wife. So what I want to do is color in that circle. You don't have to, but I like to do it. So I'm just going to show you how to do it in case you like to do it. But this is totally optional. So I want to color in. So rather than get my color and just color it in, I'm going to hit the Shapes tool. And I want green ink. Oh, wait. Shapes tool. Yeah. And I want green ink. And I already have green ink loaded in here. But if you don't, you can go ahead and hit Custom. And then the eyedropper tool. And then just kind of meander around with the eyedropper tool till you get it over the color. And when you let go, it samples that color for you. And there it is. If you want this color in your arsenal of precepts, you'll have to hit the plus button. and then it'll add it. I don't want to add it because I already have a green that I like. So I'm going to go back to presets, and I'm going to hit that green. So now my ink is loaded with that green. I have the Shapes tool activated, and so I'm going to just draw a circle, just a rough draft of the circle. But when I let go, you can see it made a perfect circle. Not exactly like the circle that's already there, but it's close enough. All right, so when I hit this undo button, it takes away that extra line that I drew, but it leaves the colored in part, the highlighting part, whatever. So if you don't like the shape that you came up with, you can hit this twice and it will take it completely away, and then you can do it again. So, I don't know how many times you'll have to do it to get it to where you like it. I'm not too picky about that. That looks almost perfect to me. And then I will write in here the number H802 here at the top, and then I'll write wife. And then if I tap on the number, here's the definition. As I read through my resources that I have, some of them I've purchased, some of them came for free with the app. So I'll go ahead and I'll probably write feminine noun, meaning woman, wife or female, and the origin of this word has been received or recorded in Genesis. And then see, I can cross-reference this to just that one word if I wanted to. So you could just really dig really deep here. And then of course I've got one of my word search is, I think I've purchased that. I think this is a purchased resource, and I forget what that is exactly. Sorry. And then of course my Strong's Concordance in King James. This is another word study that I believe I purchased. I know that eSword comes with one very inclusive word study, so you don't have to make a bunch of purchases to use eSword. In fact, it comes with the ESV Bible that has the Strong's Concordance, the numbers, Greek and Hebrew, and then it also has a very exhaustive word study in there and some commentaries already in there. So, you don't have to purchase anything if you don't want to. But because I love eSword so much, I have purchased like every one of my favorite Bible versions, which there's a lot. I like them all. And so that way I have them all here and I can, look at them in parallels. And so I just love this app. I highly, highly recommend it over any of the other apps that I've ever used. All right, so back to this. We're on step 6. Oh, let's draw a line. All right, so I've colored in the circle. That's part of step 6. And let me just go ahead and take that off so that I can redo it for you. All right, so still on the Shapes tool, but I want to use black ink. And then I'm just going to go ahead and draw a line from wife to the circle. And so you can see how it's turning into a map. All right, so that's step number 6. Number 7, record the definitions. Okay, I already discussed that in step 6. But step 6 is coloring and drawing the line. Step 7 is recording the definitions. You can record the definitions using any Bible dictionaries you have. If you're using eSword, there's one in there for you that comes free, or any that you've purchased, any apps that you have. And one of my favorite dictionaries is the Webster's Dictionary, which has biblical definitions in it. So there is a Webster's Dictionary that comes with eSword free, but I have a separate app because it's got the updates. So I use the app, but it is in eSword as well. All right, so that's step number 7. Step number 8 is cross-referencing. Now, eSword will give you cross-referencing for most scriptures. let's see, I did some cross-referencing here when I was in Revelation. So as you could see, I just wrote them out here. Usually you get several. I usually try to narrow it down to 2. And as you can see, one of them, I always do, when Jesus is speaking, I always do that in red in my verse map. And so I recorded Matthew 6:13 and Jude 1:25, and that was in my Revelation. There wasn't a lot of cross-referencing for Proverbs 31:10 in my eSword. However, 31:11 did have some. And so there's some cross-referencing there. Okay. So then that's number 8. Number 9, then we consult our commentaries. I've purchased commentaries for my eSword. There's also some included, so I pretty much don't go away from that. However, I've recently purchased 2 new Bibles, Kindle versions, because I don't need any more paper Bibles. So I purchased that new woman's study Bible. I forget what the name of it is. I purchased that one, and then I also purchased the Life Application Study Bible in the NLT version. And so I have that in my arsenal, and that is just packed full of information. So is the Woman's Bible. Let's get on with, 9 was commentaries, and then last but not least, 10 is reflect and apply. Sometimes I'll write a prayer in here. This is my step for just sitting back and thinking about all that I've learned. I just kind of look at this page. I might add a few stickers. I might do some coloring, or I might do some word lettering or something. I might do something creative while I'm thinking about it. Something about slowing down and I just physically meditate, I guess you could say. And anything comes to mind, I'll record it there as I'm reflecting. If there's something that I feel like I can apply, I will write that in there. And then, of course, a little prayer I'll put in there. And this is something that you can go back to. You could go back to this next year, 4 years. It doesn't matter. It's digital. It'll last forever. It's not going to blow away. It's not going to get coffee spilt on it. It's not going to, the dog's not going to eat it. So, it'll be here forever, and you can go back and you can reflect and, see how much you've grown. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to link anything that I've talked about in this video in the description, including, in case you don't have it yet, the free faith journal, because this template, guys, this has been priceless for me as far as my journey and my growth. I just love doing verse mapping with this template. I just love it. Now there's some other templates in here, and I was going to wrap this up, wasn't I? I'll just flip through real quick. So there's templates in the back of this faith journal. You've got blank, dot grid. I'm sure you can't see that. And then there's some graph pages, line pages, go-to verses. So if you've got some verses that you just need to run to in any kind of an emergency, put them here. Favorite verses, put them here. Like I said, you can duplicate these pages over and over and over again. So you can make as many copies as you need. There's only one template, but you can duplicate them. Gratitude journaling, prayer requests. And on the prayer request pages, you can date the prayer requests. You could check them off when they've been answered. And then sermon notes. And I do use my faith journal for all my sermon notes. And then SOAP study. Before I was verse mapping, I was using the SOAP study faithfully. but the verse mapping is so enjoyable to me. So I'm doing that. I can't do both. It's just too much between, daily reading and then studying. My prompts is kind of my devotional time. So I try to get to all three every day. I'm not always successful, but I try. And I've got another precept coming up that I'm going to be starting, I think, in August. So it's going to get a little hard for me to do my prompts when I'm doing precept, but we'll see. I'm going to try. Luckily, June, the slate is clean, so I'm going to get through these Proverbs for sure. Okay, yeah, there's a tracker in here if you want to track, and then there's my favorite template, the verse map. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so that you'll be notified when I have more stuff to share with you. I enjoyed making this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Until the next one, have an outstanding day. Bye.